Hi, Kelly. So this is what I did to make a template in Jamboard. I'm going to turn off my camera. I went to Google Slides and changed the layout to blank, and I inserted a table. And the table is 2 by 2. I stretched the table out. And I started to write short I. Let's try that again. And I wanted to make sure that the font I was using was something that was going to be kid friendly. So I used Comic Sans, but you can use Arial or anything that you think is appropriate. I just made it a little bigger, made sure that I centered it, and made sure that I put it center both horizontally and vertically. And then I was able to stretch my page out again. If I click on the background, I can get my format options where I can change the color of the table. And I can also change the width. Sometimes you have to play around with where you're going to do this to make sure that it highlights the whole thing. Let's try that again. See, it's still a little off. There we go. Perfect. So I just had to play around with where I was going to click so that I could highlight the whole table and then make the width of the lines a little thicker. And you can stretch it out if you like. Now, to make the image, what I did was insert a shape, and I said a square, rectangle, sorry. And within the rectangle, I can write a word. So let's see, let's say ice. And I'll try to make that lowercase. There we go. So same thing, I can make ice bigger. On here it is 14, and so I want to try to stick with the same. It doesn't look 14 to me. Oh, I know why, because I grouped them. Okay, you'll see what I mean in 1 second. And then I went to look for an image. And I searched the web for a picture. And for your kids, you might want Ice Cube. So it's just getting the right term. And we don't want the rapper Ice Cube, but that's hysterical. Sometimes I even have to write clip art, and that helps me a lot too. So let's see, let's take this image, insert, and now I can resize it, put it in the box, make it a little bigger. And if you don't want this background, you can get rid of that as well. But it's just a matter of kind of playing around until it's where you want it to be and how big you want it to be. And like I said, if you don't like the color of the background, just make sure you're clicked on this rectangle, and we can go to the fill icon. And if we don't want a background, we could just take it out. So now, how did I get this onto Jamboard? Okay, well, from a PC, I went down to snipping tool. And if you don't use it regularly, you just might have to type it in until it pops up. And let me move it over because it popped up on my second screen. So this is the snipping tool. I'm going to say new, and I am going to cut this picture, and I want to save it to my desktop. I'll say ice and close it out. So I'll make everything in Google Slides because it's easy to manipulate. Then I will take the snipping tool, cut out my, I guess you could say virtual flashcard, and bring it over to Jamboard. So I'm going to go to Jamboard, look for the jam that I made on short I, and that's exactly how I got this background. I'm sorry, notice that it's still kind of loading. Let's reload that. But that's how I got the background. The same way I'm going to get the image right now. I'm going to go over to add an image. And I know it's on my computer, so I can either drag it or say browse. There's my ice. And now, same thing. I will just make it smaller. Trying to see why my page won't go down. Sorry about that. Because you can see the other picture down at the bottom. I think I need to restart my computer. Just make this smaller so that you could see. So here's the bike that we made before. And now here's the ice cube. So you can make a whole bunch of these and then have your kids or your students. What you would do is share with your students the file, just like I shared with you, and they will be able to come in and move the images to the correct place. I hope that helps. One thing I actually do want to tell you before you go, the ice and the image are two separate pictures. If for some reason you want to make them one picture like I did here, what you do is draw. It might not let me do it right now because I'm in a specific mode using Screencastify. But you would draw a box around it normally, and then what you would say is group. So I think it's not allowing me to do that because I'm on Screencastify. Let me see if I can hold on, I'm going to pause this for a sec. Nope, wouldn't allow me to do that. But what you do is you draw a box around. And the way you do that is just by clicking your mouse, and it will make a box to capture. And then you can right click, and you would say, you would get the option to say group. And that will make the two images one image. I hope this helps.